Hi there, I hope you're well. Welcome back if you watch my videos, and if you do, I thank you so much. If you're new here, I welcome you as well. My name is Tracy, and this is a DIY upcycling channel where we take pre-owned items, breathe new life in them, and create one-of-a-kind, unique pieces. Now today, I've done a couple videos recently that are a little involved. So today I just want to keep it easy and a little lighthearted and fun and create an entire lagenlook outfit with only elastic to shape it. Now it's fairly easy, quick, but can be quite dramatic. I'm going to dye mine at the end, but if you choose the right colors and patterns and things, you don't have to bother with dyeing. I'm just using what I have around here. Now, a lagenlook, if I know a lot of you are familiar with that, but if you're not, it's a layered look. It's a German word, and it's relaxed and it's creative, and you can tweak it to look, you know, some more earthy clothing to look more boho, or small little florals, be more hippie. It can be a romantic goth look, like do it in all black, shabby chic. You just tweak it however you want. I'm doing sort of a Maury girl lagenlook, and these are the clothes I'm working with, and I'm only using elastic. So let's get started. Okay, I'm going to start with these pants. They drag the floor. They're a flowy, they look like linen sort of, but they're a rayon blend. And I want to shear the sides and give them sort of a sheared bloomer type look. I am going to turn these inside out. Now these are lined. I am just going to move that lining up out of the way. I have cut the lining out of pants before. Okay, so here is the outside seam of my pant leg. I'm measuring up from the bottom. I'm going to start with 13 inches. I may want to do more, but I'll just have to wait and see what it looks like when I'm done doing the elastic. Okay, now I want to sew the elastic, and I have 1/4 inch, and I am going to start sewing not at the very bottom, but just above that little hem. I don't want to see it on the outside, so I'll start there. And what I'll do is I'll stick this in my machine, put the needle in, and I will stretch that and sew. And when I get down here, stretch it again and sew. I will be doing it right on the seam, and I will be using my second to largest zigzag stitch. Here's my mark. I will sew it until I get to there, and then I will take a look at them and see if I need to go higher. I'm using orange thread because I'll be dyeing everything orange. Okay, looking cute, right? But it's still really long. I way underestimated the height I needed to go. You know, we don't have patterns, rules, instructions, just kind of engineer and figure it out as we go. So from the top of that last piece of elastic that I used, I'm going to measure up another 13 inches, stretch and sew another piece of elastic on both sides. Okay, this is what I have so far. I think I'm going to cut the lining out after all. And I think what I'll do is on the inside of each pant leg, I'm going to measure up 15 inches, stretch and sew the elastic, and see if I like that better. Okay, I'm good with that. I think that's super cute, the look I was going for. Pants are done. Okay, so I wasn't in love with the pants I just made, so I wanted to show you some better examples, I think, of ruched bloomers. Can you tell I love pink? Okay, so now I have this sort of voluminous cotton skirt. It's lined, and I have my bloomers underneath, and you can't see them, right? So I want to hike this up in front a little bit. And I am going to do 2 rows of elastic, and I'm going to go from this decorative piece up to the top on both sides. And I just stuck some pins in there. I'm not going to measure it. Sometimes measuring and drawing a straight line, what if it got off center? Sometimes it's just easier when you have it on and visually make those lines with the pins. And that's what I'm doing. Now, this is lined underneath and it stops right here, which on the outside is right here. So I can't just make one straight line of elastic. I have to go from here to here, stop, and go back in through the top and go from here to here. And I won't repeat everything with the elastic. It's going to be the same with all the elastic I use. Stretch it to its full capacity, and I'm sewing it with my second to largest zigzag stitch. Now I'll get those sewn. Before I sew, I think what I'm going to do is sort of turn this inside out. And I can see where those pins are. And I am just going to sketch a little line because the pins are on the outside and I'm going to be sewing on the inside. So I can still see the backs of the little pins. I'm just going to sketch a little line. Okay, skirt done. How cute is that? Okay, so now I have this vintage pajamas, a robe. It's eyelet fabric and little ruffles. So pretty. I got it at an antique mall. It was $18, which is more than I typically spend on my upcycles. But you know, I rarely regret buying something, but I often regret not buying something. And I'm so glad I got it. I just love it. So this will be a top layer. And I stuck a pin. Let me bring you in closer. Okay, so I stuck a pin here and here. And I will start from the bottom. This has a little ruffle. I will skip the ruffle when I sew the elastic and start right here and just sew a straight line. Now this has little rows of eyelet. That'll give me a nice straight line to be my guide. And so I'll shear that, shear the other side, and then I stuck a pin, let me see if I can find it, right here, it's lower than this one, and right here, and I'll shear it, you know, the same way. How cute. Oh. All right, I'll get that sewn. Okay, here's that. So cute, but I think I'm going to tweak it a little bit. I think at the top of, there's 4 rows of elastic here, 2 here, 2 here. At the top of each one, I'm going to turn it inside out and mark 5 inches above each piece of elastic and just sew another little strip. That way it'll be hiked up just a little bit more to see a little bit more of that skirt. Okay, I love that. Much happier with it. Okay, so I found this sweatery thing. It looked like a blanket hanging on the hanger, and I was looking at it. It had buttons and armholes, and it spoke to me. It's just as cozy and comfy as this entire outfit is. and I love it together. Now, this is really cute in the colors that it's in, but we're deep into the fall as I'm filming this, and I want to dye it all orange. So if you don't want to stick around for the dyeing process, you can fast forward to this timestamp and go right to the reveal. But if you want to see how I dye it, stick around. Okay, so I want to dye everything orange. And I'm going to use Rit dye for natural fabrics, and I'm going to do it in my wash machine. I went to Hobby Lobby. They didn't have orange. So I'm going to try to mix red and yellow to make orange. Now, in my experience, all the reds, this is scarlet, this is golden yellow, all the reds turn pink in the wash machine. I think I'd have better luck maybe on the stovetop with dye more if I wanted something red. Anyway, this will probably turn out coral. So I will add some dark brown to hopefully give me more of an orange look that I'm looking for. Now, this is for natural fabrics. My bloomer pants are a rayon blend, and I have heard that Rit dye for natural fabrics will dye rayon. We'll find out together. This sweater didn't have a label, and I don't think it's wool. I think it was probably handmade. So I don't know if it's synthetic, if it'll dye or not. I'll tell you a funny little test that I've done for years, and I'm not promoting it or recommending it, but this is what I do. I'm a big coffee drinker, and I almost always have a cup of coffee sitting around, and I'll dip my finger in the coffee, and in an inconspicuous area, I'll kind of rub the coffee on it, and if it soaks in and just takes that coffee and turns it, that tells me that it's probably a natural fabric. If it repels and kind of beads up and does nothing, typically it's a synthetic, and it works for me. So let's go dye this. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is just put a cup of table salt in my washer. These need to be shaken very well because they really settle at the bottom. Okay, I'm going to add about a fourth of the yellow and a fourth of the red. Well, maybe a fifth of the red. Red's pretty intense. And I'm going to let my my wash machine start filling up with water. Okay, so it filled up with water, and that ratio that I put in there, pretty pink. So that tells me I need to add a lot more yellow, probably add the whole thing, and definitely going to add a splash of this dark brown. Now I'm going to let that agitate a second and check it again. Okay, looking a little better. I'm going to add, I don't know, I had a drip left of the yellow, put that in there. And I'm going to add another splash of the dark brown. Now I'm going to let that agitate for a second and see what we got. Okay, it looks brighter in the camera because I have a window right here, but I think that's really close to what I'm thinking. So now I'm going to put my items in. Okay, I'm adding this sweater as well because I'm kind of afraid that that big sweater poncho might be wool, and if it is, it will probably get ruined right now. I'm a risk taker, I don't know. So putting all my items in, and I'll show you what they look like dyed. Okay, everything's dyed and I'm super happy. I forgot to tell you that I just washed that on a normal setting in warm water, and now I'm doing a empty load with soapy water to clean my washer so my next load doesn't have dye in it. So this was the brown sweater. Now it's brownish orange. You know, this will be a nice alternative to the big one if I ever don't, you know, if I'm outside, I might want that big one, but inside, I probably might just want a light one like this. Here's the tunic. Here is the rayon. Now, it did dye some. It was gray, so it's hard to tell what it would have been had they been white. But now it's like mostly brown with an orange tint. And the skirt. Now these cotton pieces just dye fabulous. And the sweater didn't dye a whole lot, but now it does have an orange tint. But most importantly, it didn't get ruined, and I still have my sweater. Okay, I'll let this all air dry, and next time you see me, I'll have it all on.